NJPW Podcast. Just would like to let you know that Indy Wrestling Show is brought to you in association with the Babyface app, available on the Google Store and the Apple Store. Now, what is the Babyface app? Well, if you're a British wrestling fan, it is the only thing that matters. Want to check out what the latest shows are in your area? The Babyface app can do that. Want to check out the win-loss record for your favourite wrestler at the moment? The Babyface app can do that. Do you want to bring back the glory that was the Origin Banter Edition? Sadly, Babyface haven't got that kind of sorted out yet. Imagine it's in the beta stage, I can be assured. But if you want to check out any of their matches from Progress or anywhere else past, you can check it out at the Babyface app. Also, you can read loads of articles from loads of esteemed wrestling personnel, including ourselves, TWM. You can check out all of our BritWres articles in one easy place, and that is the Babyface app on the Google Play Store and Apple Store. Hello, I am Matty Deller, and welcome to this week's Indie Wrestling Show, bringing you the world of graps that is at your doorstep, covering all things from the UK, USA, and around the world. We are a part of TWM Podcast, bringing your daily dose of wrestling news, reviews, and interviews each and every week, available in all the usual places, be that be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever else you get your pods. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, leave us a rating review, that would be lovely. Thank you. If you're in the market for a brilliant app involving the world of British professional wrestling, go and get the Babyface app, available on the Apple and Google Play Store. You can also check them out at turnbabyface.com. Also, if you want to read any of our TWM articles involving the world of British wrestling, you can check it out on your phone at any time on the Babyface app. And TWM Podcast as a whole are brought to you by Squared Circle Box. SquaredCircleBox.com. Use the code TWM News for 10% off your first order. Get in now to get your next month's box just in time for Christmas. I said squarecirclebox.com. I've already said my name. Let's say the names of the other people that are on this podcast, because it's been a quiet week. Nothing massive has happened in the last 24 hours to me to discuss, so this will be an absolute breeze, won't it, Mike Mears?
I would now like to go into my new name of the exclamation mark. I am the brother of the question mark.
I am the semicolon, the second cousin of the question mark. And joining us is Kyle James, who is now going under the new name of...
Can I be the backslash?
Why? For some reason, I didn't think of that, but that is the most... For some reason, that is the most apt punctuation for you. You are the backslash. We are
genuine. It's so apt.
Oh, so look, so we've got the exclamation point, the semicolon, and the backslash put together. We are the grammar. we are the shield to the question mark CM Punk. Oh, if only that was the most that was the big takeaway from NWA this week. Oh,
if only that was the most immature idea that had come up this week.
Oh God, what did you do, you old boomer bastard? But before we get to that and donk on Jim Cornette, we got some MLW who got rid of him a while ago, and they've been better for it. So let's talk Fusion. This week's Fusion started off with Tom Lawler and the Von Erichs hyping themselves up ahead of their respective matches. And we cut into our first match, which is Marshall Von Erichs over Ikoru Kwon of Contra Unit via DQ. My first big point from this, Mike, is the Von Erichs didn't bring out the belts. Disgusting.
I guess maybe because it wasn't Tornado Tag Rules.
They didn't play their music for longer than 2 minutes. They're like, we're not bringing the belts out. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
The belts only come out if they're played out for 2 whole minutes.
I need my music to loop twice, damn it. Kwon hits a flip dive on Marshall to kickstart the match, and they do some brawling. Samael trips Marshall as Kwon takes control. Kwon did some karate, but then Marshall hits a discus lariat. Marshall, it's a big pop-up spine buster, goes for the claw, but Samael attacks for the DQ. The Von Erichs and Contra brawl. The Von Erichs stand tall. Carl, it was a good little opening segment. They're kind of don't know, they seem to be slowly moving off the Von Erichs against Contra, moving on towards the Hart Foundation, or might not be. I don't know at this point in the current time. They seem to have danced a little bit around it and then gone back to the Von Erichs. But this was an acceptable opening part of the show.
It's a decent little opener, like you said. Like, this tag division is just be like, look, there's you, no, there's you. Now we're going to push you.
It's like, we were pushing you, but now we're not going to push you. We're going to push you guys instead. But we may come back to you in the next 15 minutes. Then we get Lifestyles of the Rich and Dynastic as MJF and Holiday talk on FaceTime about MJF's botched Botox. I had no idea what this was going on about. Hammerstone comes in via the gift train, says he's got a big gift for them. MJF thought he had a giant scarf, and Holiday wanted a giant AirPod, and the image of that amused me greatly for several minutes.
Yeah, like, you could just imagine him happily walking around with it, like, over his shoulder.
Yeah, just I would love that if it's like a Bludgeon Brothers / The Fiend style hammer.
But it would just be a Bluetooth speaker.
Just a massive, just plays their theme on it. They have never got to have a speaker again. He's walking around with that. No.
Holiday joins the Von Erichs and they can play their theme music all the time.
Oh God, there's the face turn no one wanted. They fist bump and even via a phone. We then get the brackets for the Opera Cup, which is Brian Pillman Jr. versus TJP, which should be a good match. And we get an MJF versus Hammerstone in the first round. Oof. Wonder where they're going to go with that. I wonder if they're slowly trying to get right off MJF because he's a big deal in another company now. Pre-match, Richard Holiday gets a call from his lawyer / father, and he calls himself the AirPod God and Hammerstone the Meat Castle. It's just an unpleasant turn of phrase, the Meat Castle. It's just,
think of the vegans.
Yeah, someone please think of the vegans. Otherwise they will talk for themselves and that never ends well. Dominic Garrini and Douglas James then defeat the Dynasty by count out. I did enjoy that Holiday started this match by wrestling with his AirPods in, but I imagine people that have AirPods, this gave them tremendous anxiety.
Yeah, most likely.
He could have lost one within the minute. He tries sportsmanship, but gets judoed into an armbar. Hammerstone tags in, but then he gets judoed into a triangle choke and then a guillotine. I do like Dominic Garrini. Basically, it's just, if you try any nonsense, I will do a judo on you.
And just for everybody listening, that is the correct terminology of doing a judo.
Yeah, I've seen the Olympics. They say, nice judo done there. Oh, he's done a judo. Oh, that is a brilliant judo. So
it's all Ronda Rousey ever says.
Yeah, if you listen to her very carefully, she never calls spot. She just shouts the word judo over and over again. Judo! Then Douglas James comes in and kicks Hammerstone a bit, but then the Dynasty antics leads them taking control of a hot shot. James gets a hot tag to Greeny, who does suplexes and more judo. They brawl to the outside. Douglas James hits a shitty tornado DDT on the floor, and then he rolls in and beats the 20 count for the win. This was a weird match, Mike.
Yeah, it was. It was a really weird mix of styles as well, which really didn't help it.
Yeah, it was like sometimes styles make fights, but this was a bit of a clash that I didn't really enjoy. It was kind of just, I like Garrini just judoing everyone. If they could just do that for the entirety of the show, just
let's wrestle more judo.
Yeah, just make MLW into a judo show with occasional Teddy Hart ram. Judos and moonsaults. That's all we want.
MJW.
Basically, are we just going to end up with the Inoki-esque show where Garini's just judoing everyone and then Teddy Hart's just doing moonsaults onto people?
Yes, that's what we want. Inokiism is alive and well.
So, like, Garrini throws them down and then Teddy does the moonsaults onto him. That's perfect.
Inoki just stands.
A judo salt, combine the two.
What, a judo throw with a moonsault? That would end in, I'm sure, death, but I think it's worth it. The Von Erichs get a package that's just a phone.
I like it. It's like, oh, we've been sent a video. No, you've been sent a phone.
Yeah.
Which isn't locked or anything, and somehow still has battery because it's already turned on.
See, I'd kind of tapped out at this point, and I just assumed he'd pulled out a VHS, and then I was like, oh wait, no, it's actually a phone.
Surely it would have made more sense to be like a USB stick.
Let's be fair, it couldn't have been a VHS because he didn't have a desk to put it in to watch it on his computer.
This is true. That's how you watch VHS in 2019. If you know, you know. And Samael offers one of the Von Erichs take a shot against Jacob Fatu, which Marshall takes one of the offers, which I like. This is very old school NWA booking. I think we did this before with like when they always give like Road Warrior Animal like a title match against the champion or like a random show. So I'm okay with this. We get a recap of the Fireball to Teddy Hart, and then Myron Reed cuts a promo saying everyone will celebrate his name.
Did you notice with the recap of the Fireball, the fact that they didn't show any video footage, and the one photo they showed, the Fireball was miles away?
Yeah, it's almost if they realised it's almost if they realised that that Samael completely missed the fucking Fireball, like we said last week. I love Myron Reed saying R.I.P. Matt Travis and Free ACH. Didn't mention the Dob Markham's a hoe.
There's only some things you can get on TV, can't you?
A part of me, I generally had a dream after watching MLW. I watched it late night and fell asleep. I had a dream that that Rich Bikini's like, and then Myron Reed on a podcast called Referee Doug Markham a hoe.
Oh my god!
I love Myron Reed. He's just the best. That's why
big shout out to Doug Markham. He takes the jokes very well.
Oh, he loved the banter. Big banter Markham over there. Then we get Zayda Zhang talking about the MLW women's division and discussing the Spider Lady. It's a pretty generic promo from Zayda. We then see a photo of the Spider Lady, and I just turned around and went, "It's just Priscilla Kelly. It just is."
I was hoping it was going to be a relation of the question mark, or a relation of me, I should say.
A relation of all of us. We are.
It's our family.
Je suis question mark. Yeah, they didn't even make an effort of hiding the fact that it's just. If it's not, like they've hired someone who looks exactly like Priscilla Kelly, but
what should it now be? No, like Priscilla Kelly had a body double. Like she had to fill in on the day.
What should it be? I don't know. It would be like Alicia Fox or something, and I would just be like, "What? How is that even a thing?" Jimmy Havoc cuts a promo about his Falls Count Anywhere match and says he's going to bring Manswaller back to his place and hit him with his frying pan.
And then drink his blood, which made me pop because I was just thinking, well, if he's in his house, he can at least grab a glass.
Yeah, at least he's not going to bring. At least he's not being environmentally unfriendly. He's not going to grab a plastic cup. He's like, well, I can use my own cutlery in this instance.
He's just saying everything he did in most of the early Progress promos.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen him, go back and look on the Twitter.
No ear chopping yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's into Red Sword Dogs anymore.
Has he brought an axe to the ring in MLW yet? I can't remember.
Don't think so.
No.
That's it. King Mo sitting at ringside, and they are still hammering home like King Mo is a big deal in MMA. Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
If you want to know, Mike explained King Mo's MMA record last week.
Let's be fair, he's more like King No.
They full named him though. They called him King Mo Lawal. So
King Mohammed Lawal.
Then we get the main event, which is Tom Lawler over Davey Boy Smith. This was a really good match. It's an acquired taste. I feel like if you're not a fan of this style, you could easily drift out. But I enjoyed this.
This is definitely my graps.
I feel like this is Kyle's graps as well. Kyle does like. If I say Kyle likes two big men wrestling, which sounds weirder than it should, but you know what I mean.
It was partial my graps because as much as I love and this is going to sound weird, but like I toss you, you toss me, we're a happy family, kick you, punch you, done, kind of graps. I still felt like there was an impact that was missing, like in certain things.
I can see your point. Also, if you want to see Carl's video of I toss you, you toss me, it's available on his OnlyFans. They grab to open, and then AJ makes a dig at NXT for some reason. David Boy breaks down, starts throwing haymakers on the outside, and they have a bit of a slugfest. David Boy Smith grinds down Lawler with some holds, brother, and vice versa. Some really nice submission exchanges back and forth, which was nice. felt a bit like a Taz match, like an ECW Taz match, where they're just doing these big hits and these big holds. Davey Boy Smith overpowers Lawler, hitting strong strikes, and then Lawler hits a T-bone to fight back. Davey Boy Smith does the sharpshooter and then moves it into a crossface, but Lawler finds the rope. Lawler then accidentally pokes Davey Boy Smith Jr. in the eye, which gives him a proper black eye as well. Lawler takes advantage and locks in the choke. They both fight between the choke and the power slam, which was a nice transitional stuff, and then Lawler counters back into the GTR for the win. I like this. I like that they're doing the same thing they did with Strickland, which is they turn. It seems like they're turning it. They turn all the people heel that are just about to leave.
Yeah.
So I feel like this might mean that Lawler's not long for MLW because it
sounds as though he's not going to be around.
Yeah, I hope
it's a shame.
I hope it's Japan and not WWE. I feel like WWE wouldn't really know what to do with him.
Honestly, it wouldn't be WWE.
Yes,
in my opinion.
So I'm hoping it's Japan because I like. It's not like, do you not want to see Tom Lawler versus Minoru Suzuki? Come on, everyone.
That's actually happening on December the 13th for AI Wrestling, I want to say.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Happening in the next couple of weeks, it is. So.
It's a pre. Or even Lawler versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Genuinely, when I watched him, I was like, I can see him versus Zack.
It's just really
I could also see Dominic Guarini versus Zack Sabre Jr. as well.
That would be junior. That would be Judo versus Amos. By the way, I think it might have been our friend Lawson retweeted this. You know the guy that did the video, which was every Zack Sabre Jr. promo ever. Right?
Yeah.
I forgot how funny that is. Where he's like,
me, the noodle boy,
the noodle boy, the sexual gherkin. I will. You know what? I'm going to re-up it. I will put it up on our podcast post. It is so funny. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. He talks to Casey Lennox, does Tom Lawler. He says his destiny is in hand, and in a few short weeks his contract's up. And he says maybe we'll return to the cage, maybe we'll get a little raw or lay a little smack, which sounded really lame. And he calls himself the hottest commodity in MLW and the hottest thing in wrestling today. As we close, because clearly that is the question mark. We all know this. As we close this week's Fusion, a passable show. They're building up towards. I don't know what the next big event is going forward. I don't think they've announced it yet, but yeah, we're kind of.
Well, they've not announced the next pay-per-view, but there's tapings announced through till I want to say March.
Yeah, they've got the Thanksgiving show, obviously, so I imagine that's going to be a big thing. So
there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. This podcast, and indeed all TWM podcasts, are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, the only place for your monthly wrestling box needs. With things from superstars from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, British Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, and loads more, it is the only place that matters if you want to get the best wrestling swag for a low, low price. That low, low price is just £25, people. What a bargain! And you can get snapbacks, t-shirts, magazines, DVDs, trinkets, whatchamacallit, doodads, you name it, they have it each and every month. And just because you listen to TWM, you sexy people, you get 10% off your first order. All you got to do is use the code TWM News in the checkout. Just use the code TWM News in the checkout for 10% off your first order at SquaredCircleBox.com. It's time for the question mark variety hour. I would say that, but we do have to have a semi... You know what? Let's discuss the show and then we'll get into the unpleasantness afterwards.
Choice.
I feel like we should do that. So... Power starts off with a recap of the goings-on between Camille, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, and pretty much all the major storylines, because I realised that Camille is pretty much in every storyline in the NWA. Joe Galli and Jim Cornette on what will be his last show. Well, his last... show. Maybe, I don't know what they're going to do.
That will be his last show.
Run down the action for tonight, and then we cut to Dave Marquez, who's interviewing Nick Aldis. Dave has not learnt from Joe Galli's mistakes and asks about Camille, and says that her actions are separate to his when they are not together, and he announces he'll be wrestling Trevor Murdoch, but the title is not on the line tonight, as it will be an exhibition match, because they are seemingly kind of... They started him off as like this bastion for the NWA, but they seem to be turning him a little bit more heel as things go on.
I find it quite funny where he basically did the version with like him and Camille, where he's like, "We ain't attached to the hip. What she do is up to her."
Yeah, in that exact voice.
Wow, that's originally how he said it, and then they voice changed it. They did.
Trevor Murdoch took advantage of the ring ropes by kicking them right in Aldous' dick to take early control. We'll then get to the comment that I wrote down that Jim Cornette makes a pretty off-colour comment regarding Ethiopians. We'll talk about that at the end of the pod. Murdoch then goes to the top rope bulldog, but Aldous gets the ropes. Murdoch then goes for a drop kick and misses, which allows Aldous to lock in the Kingsland Code Leaf for the submission victory. A decent opener between the two. Then we have Dave Marquez interviewing the Rock and Roll Express. There was not enough Canadian destroyers in this segment, Kyle.
Nah, I mean, was anyone Canadian in there, or am I just stupid?
Is Marquez? I don't know. There was not enough Canadians and not enough destroying, so therefore -3 stars.
No, actually, Matty, we did have some destroying of the English language that Americans know and love when we had Tom Latimer say the word arse.
Oh yeah, that as well.
But Jimmy Havoc is very happy.
Yes. He said he's going for the NWA World Tag Team Championships, the Rock and Roll Express, for the 9th time. The Wildcards interrupt and accept the challenge and say arse. Marquez asks about Camille, which upsets Latimer. And then Colt Cabana joins the commentary team for the next matchup, which is Ricky Starks against the question mark.
Yay!
The hero, my brother.
He's the best around.
No, if you say that, you got to say he's the best around, because he's the question mark. Got to have a.
Don't use like proper grammar. You've seen the group chat.
Oh, damn you! / By the way, you said like that sounds like a slur.
Yeah, let's not get into any of that now.
Oh yeah, let's be careful, especially on this show. The crowd loves the question mark, with or without the NWA's consent on this. They don't care. The question mark is the question mark is the biggest face in the company now. Question mark gets the early advantage, but Starks uses speed to take control, but then just as Starks was said to seal the deal, Aaron Stevens attacks for the DQ, and Stevens and question mark lay out Starks with a series of throat thrusts till Colt Cabana eventually makes a save. Colt Cabana watches them beat the shit out of him for a good 5 minutes before he does anything.
But that's really smart though, because Ricky Starks is still a challenger.
This is true, yeah.
Perhaps the next challenger as well.
Who knows?
And basically what they do is they do the Miz and Mizdow spot with question mark and Aaron Stevens, which was brilliant.
It's amazing just seeing Aaron Stevens be the one to get booed for that.
Yeah, oh, it was so good. And he's still the most over guy in the company. Eli Drake then talks to Joe Galli about Ken Anderson, and the crowd are more interested in talking about the question mark. Which is brilliant.
Obviously.
Oh, this is full Shark Boy and XPW vibes. It's fantastic. He tells Anderson if he's looking for him, he'll ship him back to Minnesota and calls him past it. Anderson interrupts and said he's seen and done it all, but he's sick to Drake of running his mouth and challenged him to a match. Drake looks set to accept, but attacks Anderson from behind and lays him out with a turnbuckle. Where the fuck did that come from? Where?
Under a table.
From the battle table, I guess.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was under the commentary table.
They made room for battle table, Mike.
Yes, exactly.
I need to re-listen to that now. Now it's been mentioned. You said the secret word. I have to go back and listen to Zach Gibson on Tuesday Night Raw.
What is this? Like the Pee Wee Herman moment?
It is. Anytime you mention battle table, I have to go back and download the Zach Gibson interview and listen to it for the 40th time and laugh for the 40th time. We get a recap of all the issues between Allysin Kay, Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa. We then get a tag match, which is Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa defeating Ashley Vox and women's champion Allysin Kay. Bell and Vox take an early advantage over the inexperienced... Bell and Rosa take advantage of the inexperienced Vox until Vox is a big drop kick to get the tag to Kay. They battle in the ring, Allysin Kay and Thunder Rosa, until Thunder Rosa gets the upper hand. And then Allysin Kay's a big superplex, and then Melina appears, which we knew was coming because he was in the intro, but I didn't realise he was going to be in this match. And she causes a distraction, which leads to Thunder Rosa getting the roll up, and she looks like she is going to be managing. That was a bit awkward though, because she started raising their arms up and then stopped, and then went, "No, do your own poses instead."
Well, in the vignette before that sort of like recapped everything, Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell did actually mention that, like, they said she's coming.
Yeah.
So again, they've like foreshadowed this coming again.
We thought it was
It's just a plethora of Latinos.
This is what I think that's the whole thing. It's meant to be a Latina stable. I was hoping it was
It's the Latino Women Order.
Yes, the LWO. They're back and they're more womanly than ever. Then we get the main event that was made earlier on in the night, which is Colt Cabana and Ricky Starks versus Aaron Stevens and the Question Mark. Question Mark did the lion's share of the work because he's the greatest wrestler of our generation. Works over.
I love the entries, the ring entrances for this. Just with like Stevens thinking he was getting cheered every time the Question Mark would put his hands up.
Yeah,
it's very Miz now because it was the exact same process. Like when that happened,
it is tremendous. Working over Ricky Starks as Aaron Stevens picks his spots. I did love the crowd being like, "Why are you not in your gear?" He's like, "I was not prepared to wrestle." And then he moons the crowd, and that distraction leads Starks to hit a sling blade and get the tag to Cabana. Ricky Starks tries to take the mask off Question Mark, which gets him booed. Don't do it, he's the most over face in the company. But then Stevens rakes the eyes of Starks, and then a throat thrust later, and Stevens picks up the win. This was a fun main event. I enjoyed this. It was a fun little piss around.
It's a fun show.
But then what wasn't fun is at the end, because James Storm did not like it. He said he was sick of all this shit. He dropped a swear. And he's upset about not getting his opportunity at the NWA title. And then Camille walks out, whispers into his ear, and James Storm looks very happy. I imagine that he told her that the Question Mark was getting a title shot soon, so that's why he's enjoyable, because that is the only way you can have joy in wrestling these days, if the Question Mark gets some sort of opportunity in life.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say, like, it's only enjoyable if the selective mute whispers in your ear.
Yeah, you keep saying, you said she is your favourite selective mute in wrestling.
Yeah, she selects who she speaks to. Apparently it's just Aldous and now Storm.
And Latimer.
She's got a really bad throat and can't verbalise herself properly, so she has to whisper.
Is this
laryngitis is not a cult.
Is this going to be... is this all a big gimmick for Tony Falk's Wrestling Pharmacy?
Yes.
What was it? Actually, no, there was two amazing adverts. There was obviously, you had the kayfabe cocktail, which by the more I watch it, it gets creepier and creepier, that advert. I feel like it sounds more problematic than it is, but it just seemed a bit creepy. And then the High Spots advert.
The other one was High Spots, yeah.
Which was mental.
That was actually great, because it was legit.
Yeah, which was really, really good. Right. Jim Cornette.
Cancelled.
I don't think he can be. I think he's just going to keep coming back. Like,
he's like VD.
I was going to say, it's like the Edler thing. It's just like you think it's gone, and then all of a sudden it comes back like fresh.
It's just
it's the reverse thing of the South Park meme. You know, and it's gone. And we just go,
and it's back. He is the noisy killer. Is Jim Cornette. Yeah, so Jim Cornette made a comment on NWA Power last night, which is a pre-recorded show, which slipped through the net, which was a comment that was the correct, the PR correct term is to say racially insensitive. You can just say out and out racist, but it was very racially insensitive. I called it, and then almost the point I did double take, I was like, that's not okay, is it? Like, that, what he said's not okay at all. And then no one really pulled me up on it, so I was like, maybe it sounded worse in my head than it was. I then wake up this morning and the internet had lost their mind, and rightfully so. And now NWA they've announced that Jim Cornette's resigned. Jim Cornette has put a tweet out, and in his own inimitable style said, "Listen to my podcast because I'm going to tell stupid people that are stupid why they're being stupid." And I don't think anyone's going to think he's going, the people that agree with me are stupid because I'm an idiot. I feel like he's going to say that everyone's snowflakes, and it is baffling how a man that had such liberal views on life can be so close-minded on such specific things. But then again, he is a 50, 60-year-old man, so why is that surprising in this day and age?
Well, you say that as well. I think it's also not just the stuff that was said on NWA, but there was a video of a recording that surfaced with Cornette using the N-word a lot as well.
Yeah, that's been around for ages. Like, I knew...
But it kind of resurfaced today during this.
Yeah,
too.
Of course it is, and it's just... And it's also collaborate with the fact that he used the N-word not on NWA Power. He used the N-word and then used it again when he saw that it upset the person. It's one of those things, like, I'm going to give my piece, and then feel free to chime in, because I had this chat, and Joe basically, every time I said it, he's like, so he's racist then? And I was like, well, it depends what you define by racist, because he's not exactly like he's not one of these people that's wishing death to minorities and all that. He's not, because I feel like that word gets used in the extreme sense online, whereas he's a bigoted boomer. That's what he is. Like, it's a bottom line. Like, throwing around, like, and what he said is racist. Is Jim Cornette a racist? I doubt it. But is he a bigoted boomer that will not let anyone tell him otherwise? Yes. And the biggest problem with Jim Cornette is, and I've been swirling this round in my brain over and over again, because I feel like his biggest issue is a video came out from one of the guys from Wrestle Crap saying that he's used this line before. In 1995, he used it then, and I imagine one of Jim Cornette's things is, "Oh, I've said it before. Why is everyone upset now?" You could get away with this kind of shit in 1995. Stuff was let slide in, like, stuff slid by in 1995. It's not 1995 anymore. It's 2019. The world is a very, very different place. I don't know if you're aware of this, Mr. Cornette, but the world is going to shit very, very quickly, and there is an even bigger microscope on the things that are causing it to go to shit. Like, you know, people being close-minded and bigoted and being kind of hypo-aggressive and being like, why can't I say this? Why can't I say that? And you have to be more careful. You have to be more streetwise. For someone that's worked in the wrestling industry for the better part of half a century, or something similar to that amount, you think you would learn to be more streetwise, Mr. Cornette. That you would know, maybe in this world where where people are excuse me, getting cancelled on the daily, maybe I shouldn't say this thing where a man is so tough he could wear chicken on his back in an African country and no one would touch him because lol black people. It's like, it's a bigoted comment from someone that has pretty much outed themselves as a bigot. And either way, whether you think he's an out and out racist or you think he's a bigot, either one, it should not be allowed. And I'm not saying anything he said is fine. I'm just saying that either one should not be allowed on TV.
Yeah, I agree. See, one of the big things that sort of like came to my mind was how he's obviously said what he said, and he's from the South. They think very differently as a general consensus, you know, to the northern part of America anyway. But imagine if he'd have just said, like, oh, he's tougher than Bruce Willis walking around Harlem in Die Hard. People would have gone, get the reference.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not belittling anyone. He's just putting over how tough somebody is. Doesn't mention, you know, how stupid he probably is as well, but, you know, it just puts that side across of, like, he's this tough that he's willing to put himself in danger. But they've just gone down a terrible route of going, let's be really culturally insensitive about, like, a problem in the world and perpetuate stereotypes as well.
Yeah, and one of the other things that just really gets my fucking goat up about, it's getting my back up massively as well, is all these people being like, when he announced that he'd left, oh, you've ruined the NWA, like, oh, it's ruined now, it's like, oh, thanks, I'm not going to watch it anymore because you snowflakes. This isn't a snowflake issue. I do agree, and I think even anyone would agree, I imagine you and Carl would agree, a lot of people in wrestling are too fucking sensitive. Like, they are. There's a lot of fans, there's a lot of people in there that get hurt, or I know that people hate this phrase, get butthurt about nothing. This is not one of those things. This is someone making a racially insensitive comment on a live stream platform watched by 50,000 people ish online. You don't do those things. Like, it's just not on. And I know that it's the, like, yes, of course, the bastion of racial equality should be 3 white guys on the internet, but like, if anyone can see it, and people are going, oh, it was just a joke, you're the problem.
There are certain things you just don't joke about. Yeah. Like, in this day and age, granted, things have been let slide in the past, and, like, like whether you want to say like he's not like a racist person, it is a bigoted. It's a bigoted comment, like as you've said. And like we don't know like Cornette as a person clearly, but it's just like from what we've seen and heard, like you could say that he is a quote unquote racist.
Yeah, that's what I said when I was talking to Joe, and Joe was saying, well no, then you mean he's a racist, and I'm like, yeah, but I want to quantify. It's like, do I think that Jim Cornette is a racist? No. Do I think he's a bigot and he's a fucking moron? Yes.
I think it's not. It's racist, but it's not hate speech.
This is exactly the point. Yeah, this is one of those things. It's like
it's not done with intention to hurt, which is like what racism is like more intently. It's just an offhand comment that shouldn't have been made in the first place.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like a good example, and this is a very UK centric argument. I was chatting once with one of my friends, and we're talking about 90s TV, and me and my friend Liv both always, back in the day when we were younger, would watch the show Gimme Gimme Gimme. It was on BBC, and it was a sitcom about a woman and her gay housemate, and they lived together. And if you watch it now, when I was younger, that shit was hilarious. Like, oh, look at all the things, oh, they're bantering back and forth. You watch it now, it's fucking horrific, some of the things they say. Know why? Because times change. It's why in the 70s you'd have openly racist jokes between black people and mainly white towards black, but occasionally black towards white people on TV, and it would have a laughter track, and it'd be on mainstream TV at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. Things have changed. People can bemoan about it, but you know why it's changed? Because people want everyone to be on the same even keel, and for everyone to be like, well, you can't say anything anymore, it's all pluralist, no one can, everyone's so easily offended. No, you can be clever, you can be witty without needing needless digs at minorities that are already suffering enough in this day and age, let alone through hundreds and thousands of years of oppression. For these digs, you want to see these people? How about go look at, I don't know, Nigel McGuinness. Toes the line with some things he says. Is anything he says remotely offensive? Sometimes he toed the line with the Singh Brothers on 205 Live. Never went over the line at all. He toed round it. Corey Graves, same thing. A lot of people divisive about him. Does the job. Samoa Joe, heel colour commentator on Raw this week. Brilliant. Never said anything offensive whatsoever. You can be an antagonistic character without being needlessly offensive, and I feel like Jim Cornette doesn't get that.
A lot of these are a lot more passive as well, and the one thing that we've like failed to discuss, like this is a taped show and like it's been like left in the broadcast, even though that like edit has had to pass through numerous people and no one caught it.
Oh yeah, no, that drove me up. That we know, like, we are now going to put more effort into our standards of practice when it comes to the broadcast of the show. So it means you're going to have someone fucking watch it before you put it out on air.
But you would do that.
Because they didn't.
Apparently not.
Or there's someone there that didn't pick that joke, that didn't pick that up. I watched it once passively at 11:15 after like many people that are in the UK. I watched it after a day's work, sat in, I was vegged out, I was half asleep watching the show. I picked that up straight away and was like, that's not on. Like, that's not cool. Someone watching it straight after an edit should pick that up. So that falls on the NWA, and they've got a lot of making up to do. It looks like. I feel like they'll be fine in the long run, because I feel like they've nipped it in the bud tremendously quickly. I do applaud Dave Lagana and Billy Corgan for getting out of the way. But I said the only thing they could have is have Jim Cornette apologise, and he won't. He won't. I guarantee Friday afternoon we are going to all be in a group chat talking about how Jim Cornette has just flat out said the NWA are a bunch of pussies and they're all snowflakes, blah 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 blah. I will be shocked if Jim Cornette even gives one iota of remorse towards what he said, because he doesn't think what he says is wrong, and he is weaponized by a bunch of people he shouldn't like. Because I guarantee, and I'm going to paraphrase something here just to close on this. Paraphrase something that's said about Brexit with Jim Cornette. So bear with me here. The point I want to make is, not everyone that backs up Jim Cornette has bigoted views, but everyone that has bigoted views are the ones that are backing up Jim Cornette on this.
Yeah, I could kind of agree on that. But in this day of age of social media as well, genuinely, we have no idea how the NWA are going to handle this going forward. if you are going to like tweet the NWA just being like, oh, you've done this, like you've let this slide, don't add fuel to the fire. It doesn't affect the product now. The company will still go on. They've got rid of a problem. Please, like, just let that lie. Like,
and
otherwise...
for the love of God, can everyone just stop tweeting Jim fucking Cornette?
Why not spread? I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
There are so many shows in BritRest this weekend. It is fit to bulging. So we're going to discuss it. And we're spread out across loads of them. I and Joe, and I think our friend, and our friend Gez are all at Progress Chapter 98. May I play devil's advocate for a minute down the Electric Ballroom. Mike and Kyle are at Attack Pro Wrestling in Cardiff, just today by Feeder. I love saying the really random names. And then I do believe that we've got friend of the show and been on a podcast, Nathan, is at the British J Cup as well. I don't think we have anyone at TETSUJIN, but we'll talk about that as well. But we're going to start off with...
We do.
Doobie, who's at TETSUJIN?
Me, you idiot.
Are you at TETSUJIN as well? No, I know you're doing so many shows this weekend. I forget which shows you're at and which ones you're not at. So you're at TETSUJIN. He's making
my way downtowns, walking fast as faces pass and I'm graps bound.
He's walking... He's walking 500 days if Lana was doing the measurements. So for me, out of there's some, like, this Progress card, low key, is pretty banging, in all fairness. Like, you've got the Pretty Deadly against the NIC, which will just be a really solid tag match. I imagine that will open. You got...
I doubt it.
No, remember, you've got someone doing double duty.
Andrews is doing the Camden to Cymru dash.
Oh, this is true. You are right. Because that's the match that stands out for me as, like, the big match of the show is FSU. The returning FSU. I think the first match back for FSU, it would be, wouldn't it, if I'm not mistaken?
Clearly, the standout match is the other tag match.
I like doing on Saturday versus the NIC. I reckon that's going to be really, really solid.
This is a very tag-heavy show now.
Yeah, it's got three tag matches, and you've got the Progress tag title match. But for me, it's the first, unless one of the Welsh boys want to correct me, this is the first match since the split of FSU. Like, since they split up 2 years ago, this is their first match back together. Mark and Eddie.
It's only Eddie's third match back or something.
Yeah,
second. I want to say, like, he returned. Like, spoiler, block your ears now. Skip like about 10 seconds if you don't want.
Doesn't matter. It's an indie podcast.
Yeah,
we don't watch NXT UK. What do we look like?
I know, but still, like, Eddie has returned to the main, like, company that he works for, and is now having, like, his second official match back here.
Yeah, I'm just very intrigued to watch Mark and Eddie tag up again.
Unless he decides to wrestle, like, the night prior at Chaos. I'm just going to say that.
Just turned up for the bants. Against Destiny here everywhere.
He is GM for Chaos, so... The
team of OGMO and Connor Mills. He might insert himself in some sort of title match at Chaos, but we'll see. You got Teeks, Minor Mike's boy, TK Cooper, against Travis Banks.
My boy.
Yep, your boy. I think the winner gets Australasia.
The winner gets Niwa. Niwa on a pole.
Niwa on a pole. Niwa on a pole.
It only counts if we got him Niwa Bagwell.
Niwa Bagwell on a forklift. Book at you, cowards. You got Robbo against Timothy Thatcher in a Proteus title match where I do imagine this will end via GBH.
Yeah. See, I'm glad I'm not going to be there just because I won't have to go to court.
Yeah, it's just like everyone in that ballroom is a witness. Also, gonna say it now, will not be shocked if the title changes.
I don't think it. I'm my money on Robbo. So
doesn't make sense, because if they change the title, that then builds into Thatcher versus Ono at Sheffield.
I just want, like, more kick fights, okay?
The thing is, though, what I want Robbo to keep the belt, go into unboxing, and then have a scramble match under these rules. So it was like, you know that video that went round of the multi-team MMA fights?
Yes, it would literally be like that, wouldn't it?
It would be.
No.
Or the end of the football factory.
Just bodies laying everywhere.
It's just like, all my dream, unboxing will have Shayna Baszler versus Paul Robinson.
Oh, God.
The dream. You got Team Oiland, Devlin and Davis against Danny Burch, and I want to say only Lorcan, but I think he's Biff Busick again now. I don't know.
He's done a Twitter video and a tweet saying Biff Busick will be at Progress.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what they did.
Remember, Biff rules.
And also he broke into that picture of his friend. He's like, look in a mirror. This isn't even my house. I live in the woods.
He's just in Dallas or something.
He's in Danny Burch's house. You know he is.
But Danny Burch isn't in his house, so that's the problem.
Yeah, the Danny Burch and Ollie Lorcan against Devlin and Davis. That could be a sleeper match. That really good. But I think the big marquee match, the match that I like, is Ginny versus Tony Storm. Like
number one contenders.
Number one contender. The winner of that's going to face Satomura down the line.
Mako in Sheffield. They face her at 99.
Tony owes. Ginny did beat Tony for the title, so I don't think Tony had a rematch. And
also, this is kind of the quote unquote debut of the quote unquote Ginny Havoc persona of Ginny.
Yeah.
So
also, I want to from what I know of, I don't recall there ever being a Ginny versus Mako match in the UK, not that I know of, unless it happened at Eve.
Not off the top of my head. Cannot think of one. I can't even speak as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. I reckon it's going to be a bit of a Slappington Bear of a card. Progress have been smashing it this year.
Triple threat, please.
It's been they have been banging out the last few chapters, like quietly going about their business, and I would recommend anyone kind of getting themselves involved in that one. Attack Pro Wrestling, just day by Feeder, is at the Walkabout in Cardiff on Survivor Series night, because they always do the big shows on the Big Four, don't they? At the Walkabout.
Mainly Big Two, not all the time. We haven't had a SummerSlam one for the past.
We didn't have one this year. We had one last year, but we didn't have. We haven't had the Rumble.
We didn't have one last year. We did have one last. But. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was in Bristol. We had a show.
So actually, I'll ask you both. Give me one match that you're most intrigued for or excited for on this card before we run through all of it. I'll start with you, Kyle.
Suspected contract in a briefcase.
It's a big boy because you've got More Than Hype, which apparently is all three members of More Than Hype in this. The ring crew.
I don't think it is, only because there was a tweet when they first announced the match, 2 members per team.
Okay, but it's a ladder match. There's no disqualification. So you got them, the Ring Crew Express, whichever 2 turn up of the Ring Crew Express.
Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys, Fraser Thomas and Joe Nelson, Rufio, and the Andy Fun Police as well. I'm terrified for Los Federales in a ladder match. Not going to lie, mate. That should be really, really good and a really, really fun match. Obviously, the winners get a shot at the Tag Team Champions. Mike, what match are you looking forward to?
See, there's 2 for 2 very different reasons. So, one match I'm really looking forward to because I think one guy's on an absolute tear at the moment and almost in the form of his life. So is the other guy, I guess, really. But
I think I know what one you're about.
So Danny Jones versus Carl Fletcher, I think, is going to be a clinic, and I hope this match gets out there because I think it's going to be really, really special.
I think, sorry to cut you off for a second, Mike, I think a lot of people, possibly Attack fans as well, aren't expecting much for it because we've seen Kyle do singles. Danny's just returned back to Attack.
Danny's got a lot to prove.
It's a proving ground for both when you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. But my butt... there's only one main event in this show, and it's the scramble match.
And why is it a main event? Because it has one man and one man alone. Well, two men.
Let's run through some contestants in the match. So we've got Akira, the returning Akira from Italy.
Yay!
There's Elijah as well. There's the storyline with Elijah and LK Messenger after the acid throw. So there could be something that comes.
Did I see Akira? Was he?
I think it was
at
one
Bristol
of the
show.
It was one of the Rafflemania shows I want to see.
Oh, then I think I did see Akira. Yeah,
the boy's back from AJPW and is now like coming back to the UK to do some dates.
Nice.
Yes, so there's Elijah. There's the returning Juba, which is always a winner to get him back from the States.
I've not seen Juba, so I wouldn't know anything about him.
Very, very good. There's Warren Banks, which is is a very rapidly rising star in the UK. There's, we get a return in G Money as well, which always happy to see him. But then there's only one winner of the match.
Of course there is. And a one. I was going to count you guys in, so then we'd all be on time. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3.
It's never going to work. Discord lag.
Oh, damn it. Curtis Chapman, the greatest wrestler,
contender,
the god of professional wrestling right now.
He is my hero.
I am very intrigued by Danny Luna and Wild Boar against the 0121. That should be a tasty affair.
It's kind of teacher and student versus
the Mandem.
The Mandem, yeah.
You've got Mark Haskins against Nico Angelo, and then you've got the fact that we've completely not even mentioned the main event, which is Cara Noir and South Wales Subculture against the old Cabal in 6-man tag team Action. Obviously, this is going to build up towards. I imagine there's going to be some big blow-offs at the Missile Tour, which I still need to buy my tickets for.
Not forgetting, there's also Mark Haskins' Angelo show, which will be fantastic as well. Very similar vein to the Danny Jones Carl Fletcher match, with guys being on a tear, guys having things to prove.
And meanwhile, all of this is going on, the British J Cup is happening at York Hall in Bethnal Green. And I'm shocked I'm not at this, to be honest. But I'm not.
The lineup is stellar.
Oh, it's
phenomenal.
It's obscene, this lineup. You've got Brendan Wright against Ren Narita.
Ren Narita's UK debut as well.
Yeah. You've got the debuting Tessa Blanchard against Giselle Shaw. That'll be a really good match.
Show stealer, I'm going to say that now.
Definitely.
Show stealer, and then the next match is the first round match saying Hold My Beer, which is Amazing Red versus Pac.
Okay, show stealer.
Then you got Michael Oku versus Rocky Romero. That'll be really good. El Fantasma against Senza Volto. That, I reckon, could...
be very, very special.
Yeah, very good.
I'm shocked that Senza Volto has not broken out majorly in the UK yet, but I'm really hoping J-Cup will help put his name on the map, because other than this, I hadn't really seen him outside of the UK besides Southside.
He's been a Revpro reg for a while now. For me,
this next one's special.
Yeah, this one's going to be leave a gap in your match of the year candidates for this one. El Barbaro Cavanario against Robbie Eagles. They're pretty much both your boys, Mike, going head to head.
Yeah, Robbie Eagles, Christ, I was so happy to get to see him earlier this year when New Japan came over. But of the 8 announcements, Red was really, really cool that they announced that having Pac there as well is great. But the fact that they have Cavanario, he's so... he's done some PWG this year, and a lot of people just don't know him, and he's going to blow people away.
Yeah.
And Eagles literally fell in love with the UK from coming over to that one show, or 2 shows, because he did the Revpro show before, and they're just going to go out there and have a ridiculous match. And seriously, Cavanario is going to be fantastic.
What do you say, for this, even for the people who haven't seen Eagles that much as well, this is the match that is going to put these 2 names at the forefront.
Yeah, I think all 4 of these first round matches are going to come out, and they're going to try and outdo each other. You know, Rocky Romero's a fantastic sort of like star, and they'll probably put Oku over him to elevate his star a bit as well. El Phantasmo is Revpro British Cruiserweight champion, so you know he needs to have a strong showing here, and he's defending Jacob champion. Amazing Red and Pac, you know, enough said on that front. But yeah, I think this is going to be the match that's going to just shock people.
Yeah, I don't know what the bracket is, but part of me really hopes we get Pac Robbie Eagles at some point.
I think we might get ELP Eagles just because tie-ins with
the Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, it's going to be very intriguing. And then you've got the Revpro tag titles and the Southside tag titles unification match. I did like it on the one of the live shows that Revpro did. They swiftly got the belts off whoever had the Southside tag titles, whacked them straight on Mao and Mike Bailey.
I think it was some Aussie guys. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was gone. It's like they're like, no, this team empty. Yeet over to Mao and Mike Bailey as they're going up against the Legion, the team of Rampage Brown and the Great Okan.
I will be shocked.
The greatest wrestler ever.
Yes.
I will be shocked if Moonlight Express don't win that, only because.
Are you dumb?
Mao's only here for a bit.
Are you dumb, fam? The Legion are winning.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that, but genuinely, Mao's over here for a bit. Like, he's not just here for a short stint. He and Speedball are over, I think, till mid-December or the end of December.
Yeah, but the
Great Okan is here on the world to take over all of wrestling.
Yeah.
He's going to be... You know that really, really iconic photo of Ultimo Dragon with all the belts?
Oh,
it's going to be the Great Okan in 6 months.
No,
Yeah.
Mike, this is where I distance myself from you. You're dead to me now.
Right, this is where you can have all the Revpro belts, the Southside belts, the 5-star, including the Tap or Snap Championship, all
the New Japan belts,
all the IPW belts that he found on eBay.
He's even going to have the Stardom belts.
He's got all of them. He wins all the belts. Speaking of Japan, somehow, New Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag League. I've watched a bit of it. Mainly the Colt Cabana and Toru Yano matches, to be honest.
You haven't seen any of the post-match stuff, have you?
I've seen a little bit. I've seen. Is it Zack Sabrina get really annoyed at small print? Was it? Or was that one of the other teams?
But there's one of... yes, it was. It is Zach, because they're trying to work out who they've got next in the tournament after they beat Suzuki and Lance Archer, that was. But there's one of them from... I want to say I think it's from day 2 when Cabana and Yano lose. And Cabana just comes to the back, first of all, on his own. He's just holding Yano's curry packet with a really sad face and just shows it to the camera and walks off because it's so sad they've lost.
I like the fact that that you have Cabana carrying his children's book to the ring.
Of course, you know you tag with Yano. Yano
is a salesman.
Selling.
Yeah. Salesman.
So this is where you got to do it.
You've got Yano and Cabana, Finlay and Robinson, and Ishii and Yoshihashi at the top. I can't remember if I've counted today's or not. I'm not sure if there's a show today, so this might be out of date, but still. At the moment, you've got Yano and Cabana, Finlay and Robinson, Yoshihashi and Tomohiro Ishii near the top. Cobb and Mikey Nichols, Ten Cozy, Kenta and Takahashi, Makabe and Honma, Furious Tekkers, Goto and Carl Fredericks. A lot, Tanahashi and Hanare and LIJ all on 4. Then you've got Suzuki-gun, Suzuki and Archer, Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens, Takagi and Terrible, and the GOD on 2, and then the Granddads, Nagata and Nakanishi on Goose Egg at the moment. That could have changed. I have not had a chance to check the results from if there even is one today. But yeah,
Have you heard the name, like the team name for Tanahashi and Hanare?
No, what is it?
They're just Hanares.
They're just Hanares.
Hanares, like it's perfect.
Hanares! Oh, I get it now. That's really good.
It's a pun, Matthew.
Still not the best tag name they've had, which was, of course, Hangman Page and was it Takahashi? Yujiro, with the name of Dick Balls.
That was the best last year.
That was
so
brilliant.
happy about that.
And it's a shame we're not. Usually, my favourite thing on World Tag League is the best friends post-match press conferences where they argue with each other. But I check out the Cobb and Mikey Nichols one. Apparently, Finlay and Robinson have just been really funny in their presses as well.
Yes, it's Finlay and thing, and
being drunk and reprobates.
Yeah, Cobb and Mikey Nichols are literally just loving tagging with each other. They're so like, oh my god, I love tagging with this guy. This guy's really cool. And then Cobb's is all like, yeah, Kaijimuchi, like the nickname they gave him, which is like Little Monster or something like that.
And then you got somewhere Shane Thorne sitting watching TV going, you fucking
son of a bitch,
you motherfucker. Kyle,
yo,
TETSUJIN is dead, and you're going to the funeral.
Yeah, I'll wear black just for you.
Yes, because other than that, you're not going to wear. Yeah, it's like, I'll wear black just for you. You wear black anyway. Don't make you feel special. Yeah, so if you're not aware of TETSUJIN, Kyle, just give us a little brief description of what TETSUJIN is.
TETSUJIN is shoot style wrestling. No pinfalls, submission only, and you only get 3 rope breaks, I think is the layman's way of explaining things.
If you want if you've got like a spare hour or two, go on to Tuesday Night Jaw. Our boy Matt Richards talked to Craig Hall, the guy behind TETSUJIN, about its origins, about the style behind it, and it gives a really, really good explanation of the whole thing. I watched the first one on Demand Progress and loved it. I believe I saw a qualifier for it on a Progress pre-show once, which was
Moser and
Ridgeway. And this one's not a tournament like it's normally been. This time they're doing some undercard, a super fight, and then a big title match. So they've got Jay Joshua against Scheit Muller.
I wouldn't really call it an undercard, just to say. They've got for prospects, they've called it the future of this style.
Yeah,
against the people
with undercard from like a fighting background.
Yeah.
So you've got
the people who are you've got the people who are coming into this style, and then the people who are already established doing it.
So you got like Jay Joshua, who I've not seen for a while, like for a cool minute. I'm not sure what he's been up to, but he's up against Scheit Muller, who I bet you're excited to see him again, aren't you, Kyle?
I'm not that bothered, especially because it's against JJ, and I think, I'm not sure if I'm correct on this, I think he might have actually been injured for a while.
Well, Joshua,
and now it's, and now it's coming back into it, and what a way to come back into wrestling, going into the style that you absolutely love doing.
2 guys that you know very, very well from different corners of the wrestling world, Michael May and Jordan Breaks.
Yep. Jordan Breaks, Riptide faithful, Progress pre-show faithful will know of Breaks, and any OTT regular will know of Michael May. Shockingly, I've not seen as much of May as I would like to, so this is kind of a welcome into his foray of skills for me. But then please let me say this one.
Oh, again, a more Kyle bait booking as we have
Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior.
No, it's just going to be Danny Jones, Welsh prodigy of shoot style, has done a tour with All Japan against the savior of Irish wrestling himself, Supreme Suplex Machine Scotty Davis.
I'm sorry, you said be cool wrong.
It's just be lovely sounding match. Might cry at this because it's genuinely 2 of my favourite wrestlers in one of my favourite styles of matches, and honestly I couldn't have asked for more on TETSUJIN's final show. This is the reason why I'm going. I'm not going to lie. As much as I loved TETSUJIN last year, this is the match that sold me.
I just love the fact your pre-review of this is very excited. Might cry at this match.
I've already said to Lawson, but I might cry at it, and he was just you.
Yeah.
Can I just stop you both?
Yes.
You said the saviour of Irish wrestling. It's obviously Madman Manson.
Yeah.
You both got that wrong.
No, saviour of
Manson is the saviour of the world.
Saviour of Irish wrestling is Scotty Davis because of Angus McNally, OTT commentator, starting it, and now it's just a thing that's happened, but I am not disagreeing with it because it feels correct.
Be Cool got cheered with Hulk Hogan before he was a racist.
by requesting it. Scotty Davis gets cheered like before Be Cool was a racist.
Shut up!
Just for clarity, that's before Hulk Hogan was a racist, not Be Cool.
Yeah.
Just for clarity.
We cannot confirm or deny, but I'm fairly certain he is not a racist. Luke Jacobs against Ethan Allen, which I believe is Young Guns, isn't it?
Young Gun versus Young Gun.
Yes. The winner gets the gun, the other one gets to be Young.
In Manchester as well, which is a lovely, like, satisfying thing for the Young Gun.
By the way, have
it in Liverpool?
No, it's Manchester. This one. No, yeah, it's Manchester. Fairfield. It's the place where
it was going to be Hangar 34 in Liverpool, but they've moved it to Fairfield in Manchester due to an issue with the previous venue. And I love this venue. It's got a wall of dog photos.
That's the place where Future Shock run, isn't it, Fairfield? By the way,
where I've seen my only Future Shock show.
Speaking of Future Shock, did everyone see the video of Little Charlie? Have you seen this?
Just behind the commentary table.
Behind the commentary table, just screaming with a Young Guns flag. The funniest thing I've ever seen. Bryn, just her going, like a distressed seagull with this Young Guns flag. It's so funny. Dan Maloney against Alexander Dean. I've heard good things about Alexander Dean. He's been doing a lot in Scotland ICW against Dan Maloney, because Dan Maloney's the fucking shit, so of course this is going to be brilliant.
What's going to be Haskins? Alexander Dean is a last minute replacement.
Second, it's all going to be good regardless.
I know, I'm very excited for this.
Danny Luna against Millie McKenzie. I'd be very intrigued to see Danny Luna in a shoot style match.
It's intriguing to see Danny Luna.
She can't do a 450.
Yeah,
bonus.
I know, but Millie was. For those who weren't at TETSUJIN 2 or knew of TETSUJIN 2 being a thing, I think. I can't remember which one got injured actually, but there was meant to be a super fight last year.
It was Millie versus someone, I know.
Millie versus Chevens, it was.
Yeah.
One of them was injured. So that didn't happen.
No, it was supposed to be Charlie Morgan.
Oh, yes. No, it was Charlie. I swear it was Charlie.
It was Charlie Evans, I'm sure.
Charlie Morgan.
I'm fairly certain.
Go and search it after this. I'm sure it was Chevens.
Right.
It's Charlie Morgan.
I'm fairly certain. No, I'm on the microphone. I'm fairly certain they mentioned that it was meant to be Charlie Morgan. So it was meant to be a Charlie. Can I just talk about how much I popped Mike by saying Danny Lewis can't do a 450 in this match? which will be
that because in my mind it went, that's every match.
Real. It's canon. We can talk about.
Yeah, Shannon Freuder and friends mentioned it that she can't do a 450. David Starr versus A-Kid.
That's going to be good.
It's very, very good. And then you got a WXW title match: Jordan Devlin against Timo in a shoot fight.
Ireland
versus Germany by way of America.
By way of Sacramento.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by this. I think it's sold out, but
it's not sold out yet.
They've got less than 50.
Oh, get down there then.
So they put it up on YouTube for free.
Yes,
they can't go.
Yeah, do that for us. Sell it out. Tell him your dad sent you. Finally, to wrap things up, sad news out of the way of IPW because BritWres is dead. IPW UK announced that they'll be no longer holding live events following the end of 2019. In a statement on their Facebook page, they cite many changes to the British wrestling climate in the last 2 years, leading to this decision. And they do state this is not the end of IPW and will continue to be promoted and celebrated into the future, with more information on this to be announced soon. Now, of course, this right, everyone going, oh, NXT UK, it's the death of BritWres, ignoring the fact, Mike, that IPW has been horribly mismanaged over the last 3 years.
I thought everybody said it was Pete Dunne that killed them.
It's Pete Dunne,
thought,
yeah.
I'd missed something from Schadenfreude.
Yeah, he killed British wrestling. But yeah, everyone...
So Damien Dunne is British wrestling?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
But the key thing, everyone seems to have missed the fact that IPW was horrifically mismanaged over the last 3 years.
It's gone through 3 owners in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it was under the owner of, I can't remember his name now, Billy Wood, that was it. They tried to do a deal working with Defiant, which didn't work out. Billy Wood then left and brought in someone else, and then
the guy from Wrestling League, they tried to merge it with Wrestling League. Something went wrong, so they pulled out of the merger, and Wrestling League went back to what it was meant to be. And then IPW just announced they're no longer holding events, so
It's a shame because obviously IPW ended up coming out of the hand of someone incredibly dodgy in Dan Edler. Less said about him, the better. Going into this guy who seemed to have a pretty bright vision for the future for IPW. They seemed to be doing these shows. They were branching out a little bit, and then it just kind of fell on its arse and didn't get back up again. But again, it's nothing to do with poor mismanagement, Michael. It's to do with the death of BritWres. Well,
any company that has found themselves in this position is going to have been really badly mismanaged. The fact that, as shit as it is to say, they drew crowds under the previous most well-known management, and just people that took it on just couldn't run the company. It had potential. They just couldn't use it.
Could you argue they tried to spread themselves? They took on board all the Lucha Forever stuff. I believe it was IPW took that on board, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did. They took on the Tuesday Night Grap stuff before it became Schadenfreude.
Yeah, and they and I think in the end IPW just spread themselves too thin. They tried to run Kent and Milton Keynes.
I think it's the shock of everything as well. It's just like everyone knows of IPW. IPW's been around
2004.
Yeah, so now
let's not forget that IPW tried to run a show WrestleMania weekend this year that drew, I'm sure the number I saw was 27 people.
Yeah.
In New York.
Yeah, but it's a promotion that's been around for ages, so a lot of people are going to be shocked at the now loss of this promotion.
Yeah, it's like a place that brought us Martin Stone. Danny Burch came from IPW UK. I believe Styx came from IPW UK. Because it is one of those things. It's one of those weird offshoots because it's kind of IPW came from the ashes of the old FWA, as did Revpro.
The weirdest thing, I heard of Jimmy Havoc and DND when Duggan and Donnelly.
Yeah, Danny Duggan's from there as well.
Yeah, way before I'd heard of Jimmy in Progress.
You could also actually, Zach's technically from IPW.
Yeah, well, he's Isle of Sheppey and it's Kent, isn't it?
Yeah. Zach and Marty were both, I think,
linked with Hammerlock as well.
Yeah, they're the leaders.
Remember, Revpro and IPW basically came out of the fire of FWA.
A lot of your London favourites, that are now elsewhere in BritWres, did probably go through IPW.
Osprey. I'm fairly certain Osprey and Robbo cut their teeth in IPW.
Noir did it as well, when he was still as Dawkins.
Yeah, so a lot of people came from there. So it's really sad to see, but it's not surprising, unfortunately, and it's nothing to do with NXT UK taking all the jobs. It was the fact that IPW tried to expand. They tried to do what Revpro were doing, expand, and they spread themselves too thin, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. In this day and age, you either have to remain a small company or shoot for the moon and become a big company. And they tried to become a big company, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. So best of luck for whatever they do in the future. That wraps up.
I just hope someone runs Unit 9 because that venue was beautiful.
Oh, it's a lovely venue. I've seen it a few times. Any wrestling show's done now. Let's comment. It's done now. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us in all the usual places: Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, all that good stuff. TWM.news. You can check out all our stuff. You can read Dave's preview for Chapter 98. Yes.
I'm stopping you because one of the greatest matches was announced this week that will ever happen anywhere in the world, and it's already going to be my match of the year, and I won't even be able to see it by the time we do the year-end show.
Right, you know what? Let me do all this, and then in your outro you can tell us what this match is.
No, this match deserves its own show.
That's what I'm giving you. Know what I'm going to do? No, I'm
prominence.
I'm going to give you prominence. You can have the last word of the podcast, just as saying what this match is, and that'll be the final. That'll be the last word of the podcast. So it'll
be the last word of the podcast because I'm going to do a swear and get us cancelled.
Please don't do a Jim Cornette.
We've said fucking a lot, so I think we're good.
Right. Anyway, TWM News. You can go check out the preview for Chapter 98. There's a preview for the British J Cup going up as well, so check that out if you can. In all the usual places on TWM.news. Kyle, social media.
I don't have a cool Irish wrestler today, so follow me at Daddy Yankee Gasolina.
Is that his actual Twitter?
No, I fucking wish it was. I don't even know if Daddy Yankee has Twitter.
Find out. Let me know. I'm a Matty ID. This has been the Indie Wrestling Show. Go support your local wrestling. Try and get down to wherever you can. TETSUJIN, the progress shows are sold out. You got the
Chaos is a thing as well.
Chaos in Bristol. All this stuff. There's loads of stuff this weekend. Get down there if you can. And for the final word, Mike, what is this match you're excited about?
Now, everybody gather round and listen closely. This will be the match they will talk about through the ages. It will sit there alongside Flair and Steamboat and Hogan and Warrior and Bret and Owen.
A Mexican Eagle versus that guy.
European Eagle. The last Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show of this year has one of the greatest matches that you will ever see on it. In one corner, a crazy man, a mental man, my favourite man, Tony Deppen, at Tony_Deppen on Twitter. The other corner, very lackadaisically, will be freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Don't need to say anything more than that.
wrestling has peaked.
Completed wrestling.
We'll see you next Wednesday.